chosen ones, empaths, and all the genuine souls out there. It doesn't matter who you are. If you've been through narcissistic abuse, right, you make this mistake, this fault exists within you, right? It's just how it is, right? There's a fault in the victims of narcissistic abuse that they had within them in the narcissistic relationship, right? And it's the fantasy. It's the fantasy aspect of the empath, chosen one, and genuine souls mindset that the narcissist taps into, right? The narcissist taps into this fantasy aspect that you have within inside yourself about the ideal relationship, what you want from life, this fantasy that you have, okay? And it stems back from childhood, I believe. Now, we always hear about narcissists and their childhood, but let's talk about the genuine soul, the empath, and the chosen one's childhood, right? You know I think unless this is your first video, you've heard my points on the childhood of the narcissist, but going into the childhood of the empath, chosen one, and genuine soul, right, and this fantasy that they have, right? Perhaps when you were younger, you watched Disney, or perhaps you read fairy tales, okay? And oftentimes in these fairy tales and in these Disney films or these Disney books or any this stuff that they kind of indoctrinate you with as a child is there's a prince and a princess, and they go through some challenges and this and that, and then they get married and they live happily ever after, okay? And it's not your fault. Please, I'm not belittling any one of you. I'm not putting any one of you down. Like I said, every single empath, chosen one, the genuine soul, I believe makes this mistake, right? And they show in these books or these films, these Disney films or whatever, right? There's fantasy that you go through challenges and then you get married and then you live happily ever after, right? And that is not how it works in real life, okay? That's not how it works in real life, but the narcissist taps into that, okay? And they provide that persona towards you where you feel like you've met someone wonderful. They're your Prince Charming, or they're your princess, or whatever, and they feel so great and wonderful, right? Just for a time. I know many of you have been through narcissistic abuse and you're sickened by the narcissist now, but there was a period of time where you felt that way. That may be in a very long time ago, but I'm trying to get you focusing on that point of that time of where that took your mind to, right? And this is where they plugged into the fantasy of what you had. Now, real, authentic, genuine relationships or marriages or whatnot, okay, they take work, they take effort from both parts, okay? And I think that's something that you can do, right, is study healthy relationships, and you'll see a huge difference. These people didn't meet like with that intense love bomb and all of that stuff, right? Tapping into all of your neurological chemicals, right? There was no love bomb like that in these relationships. It was probably slow burning, took its time, process. They grew to fall in love. They may have had a twinkle in the eye for each other initially, but it's genuine and authentic. And even if you look back, you might have to look and study from the past, right? Relationships from the past could be your grandparents, could be your great grandparents. I don't know, right? It could be looking back in retrospect at older relationships. It could be some aunties or uncles that you have that are in relationships now. It could be even someone from your generation, perhaps. I don't know, right? But I'm just saying, just focus on a healthy relationship, and you'll see that it's not that fantasy. You see, it's two people building together, right? Loving for the other person, right? Loving for the other person. It's not this perfect person, right? And that's what I've been touching on in recent videos. Because this topic's kind of staying with me. It's like thinking that the narcissist, this addiction that is within the empath and the chosen one, the genuine soul, towards how the narcissist made them feel. And I think it stems from this fantasy of childhood that stays with you. And I think many of you are staying in that mind state even till now. And look, I'm not belittling it. I think it's a mistake that all chosen ones, empaths and genuine souls are making, and that's why I'm putting this video out there, because I think it's important, right? But I see in the comment section, I wish I could meet a chosen one, I wish I could meet an empath. I think that still stems from the same fantasy of finding this perfect, wonderful relationship. And really, to have a perfect, wonderful relationship, I think, okay, if I'm wrong and you disagree, that's okay. And you can put it in the comment section. But I think to have a perfect, wonderful relationship with someone, it takes effort from both parts. It takes effort from both parts to build together. It takes effort from both parts to trust each other and learn to trust each other. It takes efforts from both parts in a myriad of ways, right? To build and cultivate a healthy relationship that is solid, that will last the test of time, right? And with these narcissists, that's just not there. That's just not present. Although initially, this is why I'm saying it's all fast-paced. It's this initial fast-paced love bomb. This is a real problem, right? That I think is in the empath, chosen one, and genuine soul community, is this love bomb. That it's because after you've been through it, okay, after you've been through a love bomb, and then you have the negative experience. Yes, you focus on the negative experience. You see them as, you might get to the point of where you see them as a dusty weirdo. You might be in a dark place now, but you'll get there, right? You'll get to that place where you're just disgusted by them. But you need to remember the way that you felt about them when you were in love with them. You do need to remember that, right? And look at it from a different perspective, like, shit, that person actually, tricked you into believing in the love and giving your love to them. They actually deceived you in that way. And I think it really does stem from this fantasy. See, this relationship with the chosen one or genuine soul or empath, right? It's not going to be some fantasy, right? I don't want to kill your dreams or anything like that, right? And what's that saying? I don't even know if it's hopeless romantic or whatever, right? I don't know, like, people can be romantic and stuff like that, and that's okay, right? But this fantasy of what it would be like with a chosen one, what it would be like with an empath, what it would be like with a genuine soul. Fact of the matter is, a real authentic relationship is two souls coming together that have been raised in their own ways. They've had their own upbringing. They've had their own life experiences. And they come together as one union, right? And they help each other become the best versions of themselves, right? Like, they help each other. They know each other so well mutually. They know each other so well. They know each other. They don't want to upset the other one. They don't want the other one to be down, right? And like, it's about them building this bond, right? Through the course of time, through the ups and downs. Yes, they have arguments. Yes, they have tiffs. Yes, they have disagreements. Yes, they have this. And this is what I'm saying. It's not that picture perfect fantasy that it's happily ever after when you're with that person. That doesn't exist, right? Am I wrong? I don't know. Am I wrong? I don't think it exists. It's not happily ever after with that person. All of these healthy relationships, if you study healthy relationships, right? They've had their fair share of problems, right? They've had their fair share of problems. They've had their disagreements, and they work through these disagreements, right? And they build a more and more solid relationship. So if they've been together from their 20s and they grow through their ages and they're in their 60s now or 70s now or whatever, like, by that time it's just they're in that unconditional love stage. Like they really feel strongly about each other. They help each other. They know each other so well. You know, they support each other, right? They've got their best interests for each other in heart. And this is what I'm saying, right? I don't think. See, the thing is they may have been fortunate to have found each other. Very fortunate to have found each other, right? Which is, it's not fair that you ran into a narcissist, because your intentions of how you were behaving, like, you would have grew with someone and supported someone and built with someone and stuff like that. But I'm saying it's a fault, right, with a narcissistic relationship. Okay, that's what I want to get across. I should have probably said that earlier. I hope you're still here. But like, it's a fault to have that in a narcissistic relationship. So it's either you can keep your fantasy really if you want, right? If it makes you feel better, but you can't have it for everyone and everyone. You can't openly go into new relationships and have this fantasy. I think that you can grow into that fantasy, right? And live happily ever after with someone. But you're going to still have your ups and downs. That's what I'm trying to say. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can have your ideal person. I'm not trying to snatch that reality from you. You can have your ideal person and stuff like that, but it's not going to be how this fake narcissistic relationship made you feel, right? The way they make you feel, no, like, a genuine person is not going to do that. And I don't think these genuine relationships done that for each other either. They didn't make each other feel like not each other, because the narcissist just does it to you, right? And you also make them feel great as well. But I don't think they do this intense love bomb. You know what I'm saying? They don't do this intense love bomb. And there's even something in, what's it called? What's it called? What do they call it nowadays? Honeymoon phase and all that. In non-narcissistic relationships, they say, oh, it's a honeymoon phase and all that. Like, I think that's a lot of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, the honeymoon phase. So, like, you're just nice with each other when you first met. Like, what is this? That's a non-narcissistic relationships, right? I don't know how long that phrase has been around. I haven't done research before I made this audio. But I'm sure, like, 80, 100 years ago, they didn't have something called the honeymoon phase. Like, well, it wasn't so predominantly known about. Like, there's something that these people were doing 80 to 100 years ago and even longer, right? In UK anyway, right? I look at my grandparents. You know what I'm saying? I look at my grandparents. Like, they fought in a war. Like, I look at, like, my granddad got sent to war. My nan was at home. Bombs were going off where she worked, right? And they stayed together. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was just something. They was obviously doing something right. And that's why I'm saying study healthy relationships. right? And it's not just 80, 100 years ago. That's why I'd say, like, even now, there's healthy relationships. Sometimes I look at some of my family, they're in healthy relationships. Some aunties, some uncles, they're in healthy relationships. They're like each other's best friends, you know? There's something they were doing right. Perhaps it's the older generations. It must be, right? But maybe they grew up with fairy tales, and maybe it's fortunate, right? Maybe narcissism is growing. Narcissism must have existed back then, right? But it must be getting worse now. So I'm saying, as a precaution, right? You can't have these ideals and this fantasy with every single person that you meet. These new relationships you go on, these dates you go on, you can't have these ideals, this fantasy. Like, it's not nice, because having remember that, like I said in the earlier segment, right? This fantasy that I probably confused you, but like the fantasy that I talked about where the prince meets the princess and they live happy ever after, like, you need to disregard that for starters, right? Because that is not how real marriages work or real relationships work. You go through your ups and downs, but this fantasy of having the perfect person, okay, you can't have that in your mind. That's the fault that I believe exists in the empath, the chosen one, the genuine soul. And this is why you need to watch out for, even now after your awakening. Now you're getting spiritual, or now you're getting closer to God, or now you're looking into the empaths thing and you're studying that. Like, you've got to watch out for these narcissists that are saying they're empaths now. This is the new thing. They're saying they're empaths, playing the victim. They're doing all this stuff, right? So, I don't know how to say this, right? But, like, I don't even think you should tell people you're an empath or a chosen one. Because if you notice, right, like, even though I make videos on, I address you all as chosen ones, empaths, and authentic souls, I don't really talk about saying I'm a chosen one, I'm an empath. I talk to you, see? And in my everyday dealings in life, I don't exactly share this knowledge with people. Like, I don't go around saying I'm a chosen one, I'm an empath, right? To people. Okay. Maybe people can get like, I don't know if that's hard for you to take on board. Like, I don't know the best way to say it, right? Because what I'm trying to say to you is even if you take on my advice, right, of not having the fantasy, of not thinking you're gonna find the perfect person, if you tell people that you meet immediately that you've got empathetic qualities, or you're a chosen one, or you're a genuine soul, and you tell people this when you first meet them, right? The narcissists are out there and they're mirroring you back. So they'll say they're an empath. When you spend time apart, they will research the empath stuff. They'll come with things that you didn't even know about. They'll research it. Remember, they put on a whole persona to be the perfect person for you in life. That's who they become in your mind. Look, I put up a video the other day, and I knew it wasn't going to be well received, right? I knew I can't remember. I've named it now. I knew, like, oh, I think I named it something like, you're never going to find something better than a narcissist, right? And the point that I'm trying to make is because I wanted you to dwell on that time in the journey of the narcissistic relationship where they was that perfect person, even if it only lasted a week, right? Where just that period of time, that's what I was trying to like hyper focus onto, right? They actually took your mind, heart, and soul on turns and released neurological chemicals where you felt like they was the perfect person at that precise time, you know? And that's what I was trying to focus on in that video. If you want to check it out, I can't remember the exact name of it. I haven't got it written down, but this is what I'm talking about. They do actually, like, a genuine relationship's not going to be like that. So I think that you should lose. I called it a fault, right? Like I said, to have a dream, or to have, I'm not trying to kill your dreams, to have a dream or a vision that you want with someone, that's okay, but you've got to take things slow, right? You meet someone new, don't see the vision with them. Look, the advice that I'm telling you, I tell myself too, right? Telling myself too, right? As I make these videos, it's not like I'm just sitting here talking out. I'm like, I internalize as well, right? And I feel like I should share the knowledge that's coming to me, right? You can have your visions and stuff, but like, keep that to yourself. That's your vision. That's personal to you, right? This person that crops up in your life, that it doesn't mean that you have a combined fantasy now, or combined vision now, to live through them. They need to prove they're worthwhile first, you know? And I think that these older generations, obviously, they met. I don't think, like, narcissism is rampant now. Like, they've done something right. So I'm going to try and study older relationships a bit more. There's obviously something that they were doing. They didn't cheat, like, maybe there were some rocky relationships in those days as well. Of course. But the large majority of people, like, the divorce rate's at an all-time high now. In the divorce rate in it doesn't matter what religion or whatever, like, the divorce rate's at an all-time high, compared to all that time ago. So something's happening now. Is it attention span? Is it people get bored with each other, or is it what, right? And that's what I'm saying. I don't think nowadays, like, many of you are prepared to go through the ups and downs, but a lot of people in society, toxic individuals, narcissists, all of that, they're not prepared to go the how can I put this? They're not prepared for they're not made up for that. But I don't know how to put what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I've got stuck a bit. Like, maybe not, like, a lot of people nowadays are not, like, looking long term. They're not serious. Now, many of you may have had serious intentions about working through problems, and possibly even if you were discarded or reverse discarded, like, you were there trying to work through the problems, like, you wanted to make it through, you saw this person as a lifelong partner and all of that. And that's what I'm saying, like, you can't have that mindset with people these days. This is the fault that I'm talking about. Having this vision, having this mind state that this person is your lifelong partner, this, that, the other, like, until they deem themselves worthy, right? And I don't know how long that even takes, you know? I don't even know how long that takes. How long did it take for these generations that have passed, that have had successful relationships, to fully trust each other, to fully accept each other? Maybe they were very fortunate to be born in that time, or to have been destined to meet each other. But the fact of the matter is, the people who I'm speaking to on this channel, the main channel, the narcissist, the spiritual channel, and all of that, have been through narcissistic abuse in a romantic relationship, sometimes from family, sometimes from friends, sometimes from work, sometimes from a boss. Like, you're dealing with narcissistic abuse from all angles in some cases. And this is why I'm saying you need to lose this fantasy, this fairy tale Disney outlook. And even, I'm not even trying to kill your dreams of meeting a chosen one or an empath, but what I say to you is you should see the qualities of a chosen one or an empath, because possibly you could meet an unawakened chosen one or unawakened empath, right? And you could see those qualities in them, and maybe through time you could start to educate them about some stuff, but not straight away. You see, like, see the qualities of an individual. Please, though, watch out for these, like, just now you've been through narcissistic abuse a lot. Like, remember, these narcissists drew you out, right? I made a video. What did I call it? I think I've got it written on my notes, this one. What did I call it? Sorry. Real good people you don't notice, instead you choose narcissists. This is why you need to check that out. It's important, right? Because this is what happens. These narcissists infiltrate the lives of the empath and the chosen one. They infiltrate the life of the of the empath, the chosen one, and the genuine soul. They infiltrate the life. And there's plenty of decent people in the world, but a lot of decent people are in their own lane, or a lot of decent people have been hurt in the past and they're focused on their own journey and stuff like this. So they're not really trying to, like, come and partner up with you like that, in that way. Not because of the way you look or anything like that, or the way that you act, or the way that you talk, or any, trait of your personality or whatever. It's not because of that. It's because they're focused on their own lane, right? So this is what I'm saying. It's like a whole kind of rehaul needs to be done in the whole dating game, right? Like a real overhaul. Like, if you want to have a healthy relationship with someone, has to be done. Okay, a real overhaul, right? Because that is an important video. It's hard to grasp the concepts that I'm coming with in these recent videos, and I'm probably going to get a lot of negative comments or dislikes or whatever, but I'm really trying to put out an important point, right? And it's a work in progress, because I've been a bit all over the place with these videos, but I'm trying my best to get my point across. But a total overhaul needs to be done with how you approach these relationships, with how you even approach people in general, friends, everything. Everything needs to be taken differently now. Now you've been through narcissistic abuse, right? It's these narcissists, they draw you out. This is what happens. They draw out the chosen ones, empaths, and genuine souls. This is what they do. They draw you out. They infiltrate your life. They draw you out. It's fucking slimy. Oh, disgusting. Oh, I hate them. This is what they do. So now, like, the way that you have to operate is, like, completely different, because these creatures exist in the world. You can't be your loving, caring self, like, immediately with people. You can be you can be kind and generous and all of that, right? And all that, but when you're talking about starting something serious with someone, like what's the word I used earlier? Becoming a union with someone, right? Is that it? I don't even know if that's the right word. Sorry if it's not. But, like, having a union with someone, right? Looking at someone as a lifelong partner and all that, serious precautions need to be put into place, And in that video, I discuss, the one I mentioned earlier. In that video, I discuss about how you overlook the good people, I reckon there's something here. Okay, there's good people that come along your path, right? Look back on your path. There's been good people that you might not have thought that you're into. You might not have thought. You might not have felt the chemistry, right? Telling you, right? And these narcissists ended up infiltrating your life or drawing you out in that direction. And there was actually genuine people along the way of the course of your life, right? And this can happen in friendships. It's not just romantic relationships. I'm telling you, you know, there can be genuine people that you turn your back on, even as chosen ones, empaths, and genuine souls that you are. It's fucked up. I don't know how this world has got so confused, but like, you can just disregard certain people. You've done it for a reason. Don't be mistaken. I'm not belittling you or putting you down or anything like that. Like, you've done it for a reason. You didn't feel a spark, you didn't feel chemistry, and trust in the planet the way things have worked out. I'm not telling you to regret all your decisions and everything like that. I should have said that earlier on in the video. I'm not telling you to regret all your decisions and the way things have worked out and all of that, because you learn from these whole experiences. That's what this whole thing's about. It's a big learning experience. But when you're in a place where you've gone through narcissistic abuse, perhaps from a myriad of angles, you've dealt with narcissists, this, that, the other, you're educating yourself, and you're in a place where you might not even be looking for anything anymore. Just be cautious of the way people try to draw you out into their life or try to become a part of your life. Watch out for that, the way they do this, because this is not how a genuine relationship's going to be. Honestly, it's going to be slow burning. It's going to be slow paced. It's going to be real. It's going to be genuine. It's going to be totally different. It's going to be something totally different. You know, that's going to need work, right? To cultivate something meaningful. To cultivate that vision and all of that. To like really have that come into fruition. It's going to take work from you and them, right? It's going to take work from you and them. And I'll touch on something. A lot of the energy that you've put into these narcissists, into the relationships, the effort, the energy, that actually, that's why it's about rebuilding, because honestly, that you don't have that energy to put into someone else, even a genuine person, straight after. And that's why you should take your time to rebuild, right? To rebuild, take your time apart, and just watch out for the narcissists that claim they're empaths, all of that stuff, right? I'd say, you know, let the empath speak through you as a person. Let your chosen one speak through you as a person. Let your genuineness speak through you as a person. This is what I'm saying. Don't be telling people that you are or you aren't, right? You know? Because, like I said, you don't, like, I don't come on here and say I'm a chosen one, I'm an empath, I'm a genuine soul. As I've told you, what I believe chosen ones are is you've been chosen to have empathy, right? You know? I know I have empathy, right? But I don't talk often about it. I talk to you as people because I'm addressing you, right? But in my everyday dealings, I don't tell people that, about chosen ones, empaths. I don't do it because that's why I'm using this as an outlet to reach you people, right? But just be careful. Like, honestly, that's the new thing that they're doing. They will study it. You know, if they pick up on an inkling that you're an empath or a chosen one, they will mirror that so much. You know. So, like I was saying, there is something in the upbringing. Remember what I said in the early segment. There is something in the upbringing of the empath, chosen one, genuine soul, and the fairy tales and the Disney movies and all of that makes you or Disney books that makes you yearn for happily ever after, when really relationships, marriage is just the beginning. You're gonna go through your ups and your downs, and if you have a genuine union with someone, you work it out, and you have a healthy relationship, and you have a solid bond, and that's what it's all about. Like, changing what you actually want from a relationship. You want something genuine, right? It's going to be totally different. It's not going to be someone, love bombing the hell out of you, man, making you feel like you're the best thing on the earth and all that. Like, you will get that. You will feel like the only person they love and stuff like that, with a genuine soul, but it's not going to be some fake, person blowing up your ego and trying to make you feel or tap into all of these sensor points of your neurological chemicals, giving you dopamine releases and all that. It's not going to be like that, right? It's going to be much more slow paced. So, study healthy relationships, whether it's in your own family or what you see. I think that's something, collectively as empaths, chosen ones and genuine souls, should all do. Study healthy relationships. What were they doing? There's something they were doing from the past. Put it in the comment section if you have an understanding or an idea. What were these older generations doing, a lot different? What made them like that, right? Is it the locations? Is it the areas that people are from? Is it, right? Because I will touch on something before I go. A lot of my family live in an area, and even, say, my cousins, a lot of them are in healthy relationships, right? Healthy relationships, engagements, planning to get married, very healthy, right? So it could be these locations too that have, I don't know where you're from. You're from all over the world, but I'm just saying, like, it could be the locations, right? I don't know if there must be narcissists in those locations as well, but there's something in this. There's a lot more than, honestly. I'm gonna be coming with some. I'm gonna be giving this some thought, and trying to come to something, But like I said, there is something the older generations were doing. There you go. I've just answered it. I just realized what it is. The older generations had an effect on these individuals. You see, as much as I say it's not made in childhood with the narcissist, they don't really learn because many narcissists have decent upbringings, but it's like they don't learn from other people. They're in it for self. They believe they have a power to get what they want in life, and they have that's what their passion is. They have a belief they can get what they want and they can do what they want, and like, that's their outlook. And then you become a part of that. It's fucked up. Sorry, I've been going on for quite a while. I'll draw this video to a close. Thank you for listening. The last few videos have been all over the place, but there is some nuggets of information in there that you can take. This is literally, this is realization has come to me. Obviously I'm gonna just try go over this stuff and do some work on these kind of topics, because it's an important part to take into account. It's a very important part. These have been very important videos, I believe. I hope they're well received. But put in the comment section what you think, and I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.